popcorn. Switch off the lights and brace yourself, because what you're about to hear will make your skin crawl. This is no ordinary tale. This is the chilling story of the Enfield Poltergeist, a haunting that shook an entire family to their core. Get ready, because the darkness is about to consume you. The year is 1987, in the quiet suburban neighborhood of Enfield, North London. A family of 5 would unknowingly become the center of one of the most terrifying supernatural events ever recorded in history. The Hodgson family, Mother Peggy, her 4 children, and their dog, moved into their council house on Green Street, never anticipating the nightmare that would soon unfold within its walls, a nightmare that would haunt them forever. It started innocently enough, strange knocks echoing through the walls, but at first the family thought nothing of it. They assumed it was just the house settling, as old houses often do. But as the days passed, the sounds became harder to ignore. Unexplainable banging, scratching noises, and eerie whispers filled the night. It was as if someone or something was trying to get their attention. And then it escalated. In the dead of night, the children would wake to find their toys and furniture inexplicably moved. Chairs would be overturned, objects scattered across rooms as though they had been thrown by an unseen force. The house began to feel alive in the worst way. Peggy, the mother, initially chalked it up to the kids playing pranks, but as the occurrences grew more violent, even she couldn't deny that something far darker was at work. One night, Peggy was alone in the house when a chair flew across the room, landing several feet away from where it had been. Panicked, she called the police, but when they arrived, they could find no explanation. They too heard the sounds, faint whispers and the tapping of invisible fingers against the walls, but they left, unsure of what to make of it. The next day, things took a much darker turn. It wasn't just the furniture that moved. It wasn't just the noises. This time, it was the children. Janet, the 11-year-old daughter, began to experience terrifying, unexplainable phenomena. She was thrown from her bed, her body twisted and contorted in unnatural ways. Peggy rushed into her room, finding Janet writhing in agony, her face pale and her eyes wide with terror. The haunting wasn't just about things moving anymore. It wasn't simply the sounds of the supernatural creeping in the shadows. No, now it was something far worse. Janet began to speak in a voice that wasn't her own. A deep, guttural growl escaped her lips. A voice so chilling, so full of malice, it made everyone around her freeze with fear. The voice that came from Janet was not human. It was monstrous, demonic. "I'll kill you!" it screamed, sending Peggy into a frantic panic. Soon after, it wasn't just Janet being affected. All of the children, and even Peggy, began to experience the full extent of the haunting. The house became a prison. Doors would slam shut on their own, the walls would rattle, and the temperature would plummet to freezing levels for no reason at all. The very air in the house seemed to vibrate with a dark, suffocating energy, as if the house itself had turned against them. And then came the apparitions. In the dead of night, the Hodgsons would wake to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds, their faces obscured in darkness. There were stories of children seeing the ghostly figures of long-dead inhabitants, still roaming the halls, their faces twisted with grief, anger, or pain. But what really terrified the family wasn't just the ghosts. It was the feeling that they were being watched, even when they were alone. Desperate for help, Peggy contacted paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens, known for their work with other famous hauntings, arrived to investigate the terrifying occurrences, but what they found left even them speechless. When the Warrens entered the home, they too felt the overwhelming presence of something evil. The air was thick with an unexplainable heaviness, a darkness that seemed to have settled in every corner of the house. As they began their investigation, the supernatural activity intensified, with objects being thrown across rooms and unseen forces violently shoving the family members. During one of the most harrowing incidents, Janet was pinned to her bed, her body rigid as though possessed by some malevolent entity. She began to speak in the same deep, guttural voice. Only this time, the voice wasn't taunting them. It was threatening them. "Get out," it hissed. "This is my house." The Warrens were caught in the grip of the terrifying poltergeist, with the entity mocking them, calling out their names, and even throwing objects at them. One of the most chilling moments came when the voice of the demon spoke through Janet, saying the words, "I will kill you." But it wasn't just the Warrens who were affected. Even the skeptical investigators who had visited the Hodgson home witnessed events they could not explain. Items would levitate, furniture would move of its own accord, and a deep, unnatural growl would echo through the house, shaking everyone to their core. The entity was not finished yet. As the haunting progressed, Peggy began to realize that this malevolent force wasn't something simple. It wasn't just some playful ghost or mischievous spirit. It was something far darker, far more ancient, something that had been feeding off the pain and fear of the family. But what was it? Was it the restless spirit of someone who died violently in the home? Or was it something else entirely? Theories swirled. Some believed it was the spirit of an old man who had died in the house years earlier. Others believed it was the result of some darker, demonic force that had latched onto the family. Even after the Warrens left, the haunting did not stop. The family lived in fear for months, with no end in sight. And though the activity began to subside after a time, the legacy of the Enfield Poltergeist lived on. For decades, this haunting has remained one of the most well-documented and debated cases in paranormal history. Was it a hoax? Was it a series of cleverly staged events? Or did the Hodgsons truly suffer from the wrath of a demonic force that still lurks in the dark? The Enfield Poltergeist leaves us with one chilling reminder. Some things cannot be explained, no matter how hard we try. And sometimes, the things we fear most are real. And though the house may be silent now, the darkness remains. It lingers in the shadows, waiting for the next family to cross its path. Because once evil takes hold, it never truly lets go. And the Hodgsons will never be free. If you dare to venture deeper into the unknown, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and join us on more chilling journeys into the darkness. HauntScape awaits, if you can handle it.